Mitch, you're really starting to like this Kathy, aren't you?
No.
Mitch, I know you, man. When you say no like that, you really mean yes.
What are you talking about?
Watch, I'll show you. Mitch, did you ever rob a bank?
No.
Did you ever climb Mount Everest?
No.
All right. Did you ever say that you can see why women find Sean Connery sexy?
No. Okay, so I like Kathy a little bit.
So rest in peace to Sean Connery, a fucking legend of a man. So when I was a child and in my early teens, I was quite the sissy. I had no father around. My father left when I was young and started a new family, and I never saw him again. But even if my father was around, he wasn't really a masculine man. He wasn't a man's man by any means. And I was raised by a single mother. And I was quite soft. I was a wimp. I was very sensitive, overly emotional, socially awkward. And other kids in school, they smelled that like sharks smelling blood in the water. And I was bullied incessantly and very fearful most days going to school. And this carried on into my early teens. Girls did not like me. And I had no real positive role models, male role models, in my life other than an uncle that I hardly saw. So most of my positive male role models I got from television and movies. So most people who know DWB the man and did not know DWB the boy might not believe this to be true, but anyone who knew me as a child knew that I was quite the feminine little sissy boy. But times do change. With little to no positive male role models in my life to shape me into the man I am, I found myself shaping myself into becoming the man that I wanted to be. And I had many role models from television and movies. And one of those, of course, was the great, late Sir Sean Connery. Now, my generation probably didn't get introduced to Sean Connery through James Bond. For me, it was The Rock, and the movie stuck with me for a very long time. As a matter of fact, there's a line that Nicolas Cage says in the movie, "What in the name of Zeus's butthole?" that if you have watched my videos, you will have heard me use the term. Just a couple of videos ago, I used the term, I believe, in my Walk Away story video. So as I grew into my mid-teens, 15 to 16 years old, I emulated these confident, masculine type of characters that were portrayed by like Sean Connery and The Rock until I actually became that confident, where I stopped caring what people thought about me as much, and I found that girls were more attracted to me, and I started becoming more successful in that department. And the part of The Rock that stuck with me the most was this part right here.
You sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Carla was the prom queen.
Really?
Yeah.
Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. And the thing about this movie was that Nicolas Cage was the more feminine type of man, and Sean Connery's character was not only his guide through Alcatraz, but his guide into his masculine self. And Sean Connery was one of my many guides into my masculine self. When Sean Connery died, I really expected the soy socialist of Twitter to go after him because he was kind of a nationalist. He advocated for an independent Scotland free from England quite a few times throughout his life, but when he died, no, that's not what they had to trash Connery about. They said he was toxic masculinity, and in his James Bond movie, he would grab women and forcibly kiss them unconsensually, Well, I'll tell you what, no woman ever kissed Sean Connery unconsensually, that's for damn sure. And there's nothing wrong with being a more feminine type of man. But there is something wrong with being a feminine type of man and then having this hateful jealousy towards the more masculine type of men. And that's really what it is. It is not about toxic masculinity, it's about toxic jealousy. And yes, I was jealous of this type of man when I was young and soft and the women did not like me and I had no confidence. I was jealous of that type of man, but not in a toxic way. I was jealous of them in a way that I wanted to be more like them, so I emulated them more. And it did help me come into my own and come into myself. But when these people have all these negative things to say about Sean Connery, that's really what it is. It's not that they don't like Sean Connery. It's that they don't like themselves. The same way that I once did not like myself. So instead of becoming the type of man that they are jealous of, they choose to hate the type of man that they are jealous of. They're crabs in a bucket. They don't think they can pull themselves up without tearing other people down. But I tip my hat to you, Sir Sean Connery, because I grew up and I married the prom queen. Sean Connery was from another time when people actually respected masculinity. From a time when men could be sexy, you know? When hairy chests and masculinity were sexy. And I don't have to pretend like I wasn't like I used to be. And I don't have to pretend like I hate people who I actually admire. And I don't have to pretend that people that have traits that I wish that I had are toxic, are bad in any way. Because I do have that confidence now. I don't have to lie to myself to try and make myself feel better. I can be honest about my reality, and I can change myself to be the type of man that I can look at eye to eye in the mirror. And that's thanks to men like Sean Connery. This has been DWB. Thanks for watching. And remember, don't be a fucking commie.